So today we're with our wonderful client, Beverly. She recently sold her 6-unit property in the city of El Monte. The property had been in her family for 3 generations.
Yep.
And so we just wanted her to share a little bit of her experience with you. So first, though, 3 generations, I mean, from your grandparents to your folks to you, how did that come about?
My grandma, she was quite an entrepreneur. In fact, at one time, she had 13 properties in El Monte.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. And she sold them and switched them and all that. This was her original property that she bought. It was an agriculture type of land, and it was very treesy, woodsy, just very unique. But my grandfather had a bird business. They were in the parakeet business. So they wanted to start breeding parakeets. So they decided to tear down some trees and do the parakeet banning and raising of the parakeets.
And to give them some perspective, so the land that these 6 units eventually sat on was nearly 41,000 square feet. So that's why they had to cut down trees. And
had a lot of land. But as life progressed, my grandmother passed away when she was in her 90s. My dad inherited the property. And in his senior years, I started helping him do property management.
Okay.
And I've done that property management for, well over 20 years. And now I'm the senior. And, we just decided that it was a good time to go on. And I have 2 kids. I don't know that they would want to do property management together. I don't know that it would work in their lives. They have different lives than us older people.
Sure. And to make them partners, because that's what would happen.
Right.
Maybe they each have their own idea of what direction to go.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And they have their own families. So, I thought about it. And you being the good person you are, you always kept in touch with my dad. Mm-hmm. And you kept in touch with me, basically, over the years. And after he passed, I got an evaluation from you and was kind of sitting in my drawer, and my head was going.
This is a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
The first evaluation.
Yeah. Yes. Thinking about what if, and talked to my kids. And, it just got to the point where we said, maybe this is a good time to do this.
And I imagine it wasn't an easy decision, because your grandmother built each of those 6 houses over time. It's been in the family for 3 generations. And honestly, for many people, they would stop there and say, well, even if it meets our personal needs, even if it meets our financial needs, no, we won't sell just because of the emotional, component of it. Attachment, right?
Yeah.
And, but you chose to sell. It makes sense out of personal necessity. It makes sense for the family. And then you're reinvesting.
Yes,
so
we are.
To reinvest.
And closer to where we live. But the fact that you kept in touch with us, I remember one day going out to the post box and getting my mail, and here was a postcard from Chris German.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it just makes me think more and more. I wonder if I should do this, And really talking to my kids, we're a very close family, and getting their input, we said, let's give it a try. What I like about you is that you do what you say you're going to do. You have wonderful customer service. Your staff, all of the staff is very, very good, and you've been there for us, and you're a man of your word. So this is something that I can say, anybody looking for old-fashioned customer service, you're the guy. You really are. You really are.
I appreciate that. And I know that we had met a couple of years ago. Obviously, the market was different then. Interest rates were lower. So at that point, I had given you a higher price than when you came back to me this year. And I just wanted to be truthful with you. I wasn't going to tell you just a high price to, obtain the listing, but I had shared with you that if we price the property relative to market and at a logical price, that we're going to generate multiple offers. And so we ended up selling the property $100,000 over the list price, and even more than what I evaluated the property to be 2 years ago. Because of that pricing strategy, we essentially let the buyers duke it out, and you kind of stood back, and at the end of it, did very well on the price.
Yes, we really did. So I appreciate that very much, and I'm very happy.
Excellent.
And so are my kids.